Hello Magento developers! In today's video I will teach you how you can create a custom CMS block in admin and insert it into the checkout application. This is a little tricky because the whole checkout application is rendered by KnockoutJS and its templating language, which are HTML files. Therefore, we cannot use PHP. Otherwise, it would be very easy. So the goal for this lesson will be to add a CMS block here on this place in the cart sidebar. Before we start, let me remind you that if you are interested in Magento 2 development and want to learn more, you can go to my website www.peterbritka.com, where you can find more Magento 2 related articles and tutorials. And you can also sign up for my newsletter, and as a gift you will receive the access to my quick guide to Magento 2 customization course. Okay, let's get started. Before this lesson I created a new CMS block in admin called Checkout Summary Info. Here you can find a simple text that we will insert in the cart sidebar. So let's see how it is done. I also have a new module, pbritka design, with its registration PHP and module.xml. Alright, as the first thing, we have to find out which file we need to edit to actually add something in the cart sidebar. Let's go to Vendor, Magento, Magento Checkout, View, Front End, Layout, Checkout Index. This is the layout XML file which is responsible for rendering the checkout application. As you can see, it's a bunch of item elements. I'm not going to explain you everything about these items because it's a huge topic and it's out of scope of this tutorial, but basically this item node means that each item registers a new component, for example a checkout provider, and these components can have a template. For example, this one is in UI form field, but let's find some. For example, this one, Magento Checkout one page template, and on this example I will explain you where you can find these templates. This simply means Magento Checkout that you should look in the Magento Checkout module and its front-end web template directory, and one page, this is a relative path from this template directory. So this file, one page HTML, is responsible for rendering this checkout component, this one, and everything which is below. In this case, let's find a cart summary, which is the component that we are interested in. This is in summary.html. So again, its relative path from the template directory and the file we can find here. And of course, we shouldn't edit this file directly, but we should override it in our theme. So we will do this now. I have a new theme inside design front-end pbritka default with registration PHP and theme XML. Here we will create a new directory called Magento Checkout. Inside a new directory web, template, and an HTML file, summary.html. I can copy the content of the original summary.html in my new summary.html in my theme, and just to see that we are working with the correct file, let's add a new div element here and write something like CMS. Now let's refresh the browser and see if we've done everything correctly. If this doesn't work, usually it's because it's cached. So you can open the inspector, right click on this icon and empty cache and hard reload. And if this doesn't work either, you can remove the whole pub static directory inside your Magento root folder. So remove this directory, but be sure not to delete the htaccess file, which should be inside this directory if you are using Apache. Otherwise, your static files won't be correctly generated. So now I have to copy the htaccess back. So inside my pub directory, create a static directory and copy this htaccess from my other Magento installation here. Refresh the browser. Also, this directory should be writable. And now you'll see that the text is here. Okay, now it's time to do some magic and show you how we can insert the content of the blog here. First of all, let's explore the source code of this page. There is a variable called window.checkoutConfig, which is a huge JSON of all the components that make our checkout application, and we need to add the content of the CMS block inside this variable. So let's see how we can do it. For this, we need to create some new files inside our design module. So first one will be under etc directory, create a new directory front end and a new XML file di.xml. Create the config node, then type node with name attribute equal to Magento checkout model composite config provider, which we'll look at in a while. Or actually, we can look at it now. So model composite config provider. Here is a method called getConfig that iterates over all config providers that are registered, which add to this config array. They are merged and returned as JSON. So we need to add our new config provider inside the constructor, and we can do it by defining arguments node, argument named config providers, which is xsi type array, and here we'll register a new item with a unique name. We can call this CMS block summary info with xsi type object, and the value of this node will be a path to our new class that we'll create in a while. My will reside in pvritka design model checkout config provider. So this is it, and let's create the class. Create a model directory, a new file, checkout config provider, define the namespace and a class that will implement config provider interface. So we need to add this interface to our use section. It will be Magento checkout model config provider interface. This interface has one mandatory method called public function getConfig. In this method, we will call a create block method on layout object. So we will also need to add a property called layout. So we need to use one more interface, Magento framework view layout interface. This property is of type of layout interface. Now we need to define the constructor, so public function construct, where we'll inject this layout interface and assign the argument to our property. Let's define the body of the getConfig method. So we'll create a new variable called block by calling this layout create block method. The type of this block will be Magento CMS block. And on this block, we need to call set block ID method, which will be the identifier of this CMS block that we created inside our admin. Now the block variable holds the instance of a concrete CMS block, and we can return a new array with the key that will appear inside the window.checkoutConfig JavaScript variable. I will call this checkout summary info, and the content of this item will be the actual HTML of this block, so we can call block to HTML method. The only thing which is left at the moment is we have to go back to our summary HTML that we created inside our theme, remove this text, and this KnockoutJS templating language uses data bind attributes, where we specify the type of the content that we are expecting. So I expect HTML, and here I will call window.checkoutConfig and our key that comes from this class, checkout summary info. That's it. Now clear the cache. Or actually, I should clean the config cache. Let's go to the front end, refresh the browser, and now you can see the content of the CMS block here. So now you know how to add a custom CMS block inside the checkout application, and you see it's not as difficult as it seems to be. Alright, this was it for this video. If you are new to Magento 2 and would like to speed up your process in learning the most common front-end and admin HTML customization tasks that you will be doing every day, then I recommend that you check out my premium online course where I recorded how I created the spam protection module. So this is a case study of this module, and you will not only learn the most common tasks that you will be doing as a Magento developer, but you'll also protect your site from fake registration and unwanted spam. So if you're serious about Magento 2 development, then I recommend that you check out this course. And for now, I thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in some next Magento 2 tutorial.